Assalamu alaikum. I'm Muhammad Shahid Islam. Welcome to this video class. Today I have a topic. The name of my topic is OOP in Java. So let's see the content and which I'll describe. In OOP stands for Object Oriented Programming. And the OOP concepts in Java are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Those concepts aim to implement the real-world entities in program. The first thing of OOP, we must know that what is class. Actually, a class is a user-defined blueprint or prototype from which objects are created. That means in classes we created object. Let's see how we define a class. Class is declared by using a keyword class, and the general syntax for the class is, first of all, we have to declare an access modifier. There are some access modifier. They are public, private, protected, or default. Then use the keyword class and define the class name. But we must know but we have to do that. The class name always should be the first letter of class name always should be capital letter. Now let's see the class hierarchy. The class hierarchy is how a class may have a subclass. If the class have a subclass, then it will be inherit the another class. That means a class can form a superclass or subclass. What is superclass and what is subclass? Think about your family, your grandfather and your grandfather and your father. Your grandfather is a superclass and your father is a subclass. Superclass means that is the main class and the subclass is the child class. And always the child class extends the superclass using the keyword extends. Now see what is objects. Actually, objects are created in class and objects have state, behavior, and object exhibits the properties. That means objects always have the state, behavior, and the properties. So let's see how we define the objects in a class. We defined a objects in a class using the class name, then a variable name, then use the equal sign and use the new keyword, and at last again the class name. So here is an example. Here is a proper example of how we define a class. Here is the class, public class, box. We define a class, and here is the initialize. Here we initialize two value, integer value, and some variable. Now we defined a void display functions, and it's always return the sum value, which will be the summation of a and b. Now in the main function, public static void main, in the main function we created an object which is box b. Here b is a object of the class. That is the instance of the class. Box b equal new box. Here b is the object of this box class, and by the keyword b will be access the whole class and the function or methods of this class. And